Welcome back. All right, so this is a box of Hot Wheels. Why? Why? Why would THG? Why would he have? No, I was sober when I ordered these. I swear I was. So, went to Toy Traders last week, which is a big store in Langley, and going up and down the toy aisle, and a lot of nostalgia kicks in. And so for me, one of my favorite things when I was a kid was collecting Hot Wheels. Now, I had some Matchbox as well. And looking online, it looks like Matchbox cars are now more expensive than Hot Wheels, which is kind of messed up. Now, it used to be when I would go to the mall with my grandmother, and that was one of my favorite things to do was to go to the mall with my grandmother when I was 3, 4 years of age. And they would take me to the store, the toy store. It was a small store right next to Sears. So we'd head to the mall, we go through Sears, little toy store off to the side, and they would get me a Hot Wheels. And so that would make me happy, and it cost like 99 cents. So for $1, you got a 3-year-old to keep his mouth shut about wanting things the rest of the time he was out. As I remember it, I didn't ask for anything else, and so Hot Wheels were a big thing, and I would race them, and I would test them out, and I would figure out which ones were the best. So I had one of those Hot Wheels racetracks. And so what I do is I'd put it against my porch and have it like this, and I would take two cars because I'd have two lines of track, and I drop them at the same time to see which one hit the bottom first. And so I would consider that kind of like racing them and seeing which ones were the best. I would also do little push tests to see which one would glide the furthest. What I found out was with Hot Wheels at the time, they had some that had gold hubcaps. Those ones were the best. Those ones were absolutely the best at going the fastest, going the furthest. Love those. So at a certain stage, I was like, I'm only getting the ones with the gold hubcaps. Made sure that my mom and my grandmother knew that as well. So in looking at Hot Wheels last week, it makes me nostalgic, and I thought, why not? Why not order some? I'm not sitting in here playing with them today, but I wouldn't rule it out. I have no idea what I'm going to get now. From what I read on Amazon, you get 50 of them. I think it was 70, about $75 for the 50, which again, in today's day and age, and considering they were 99 cents when I was a little kid, that's not bad. And so apparently, if you order them and you leave some time in between, you're going to get different cars. If you order the like two boxes of 50 within a week of each other, you're probably going to get the same ones. But it looks like, grandparents are doing this. And I mean, if I'm ever in a position where there's a grandkid hanging around and like, hey, got anything for me? Some of these would absolutely work. Not all 50. A kid doesn't just walk in and give him 50. You're raising the bar too high. So, that being said, open the box here. Now, I don't expect any of the limited edition, and I did look it up online because I gave away my cars when I was, I want to say 15 or 16, and I've always kind of felt like, maybe I should have kept them. Maybe they would have been worth something. I don't think so. A, I took them out of the package because mint and box, right? And then B, most of the ones that I played with when I was a kid, the value's gone up somewhat, but not as much as I would think. I had the ones with the provincial and state license plates on the back, and I wanted a set of those. If those came out now, I would absolutely do my best to scour around every toy store everywhere and try to get all 50 states and all 10 provinces and 3 territories, right? So, that being said, let's go ahead and drag this one out. El Camino. So one thing that sticks out to me with it looks like it's a lowrider. So there you go. 3 out of 112 or 3 out of 10. So I'm guessing that's the set. That throwback to the 80s. The first one I pull out is a throwback to the 80s. 80 El Camino. One thing I thought with this too is that because of the case, the way that it's set up, if I could come up with some sort of a display for these, that'd be awesome. So I may do that as well. All right. This one appears to be from the same set. 89 Mazda Savannah RX-7. I never had these. Well, 89, that I was 16. So yeah. Let me just check out the hubcaps on them. They're different. I'm thinking about racing these, right? Yeah, I'm insane. Absolutely insane. All right, any of the others in here? There's an 80s one too. And 84 Audi Sport Quattro. The Audi Sport Quattro is actually a car I've used on racing games for a long time. So that's interesting. So Audi El Camino. The El Camino is fun too because when I was a kid, I used to call those truck cars. That was just what I called them, was truck cars, because it's a car and you've got like the pickup design in the back. So I just called them truck cars or car trucks. They were one of my favorites because it was both. I was like, sure, why doesn't everybody have a car truck? It just, that makes a lot of sense. You have both then. All right. Is that all the 80s ones in here? So the nice thing is it's got the pink down the side here. So I'm going to cheat a little bit and look. Nope, there's another one. This one is 82 Cadillac Seville. Oh, I had that. I had that one when I was a kid. Absolutely, because I remember because I had this what looks like the space for the tire on the back. That is really fun. Yeah, the hubcaps look different on a bunch of them. Any of the other 80s ones in here? Be kind of fun if I had a full set that came out of this, but all right, so I got 4 out of the set. There's 10 altogether. So 7, 3, 9, 4, and all for the 80s. So nostalgia on top of nostalgia, right? All right. I used to love cars like this too, which is the fancy Mad Splash is just what it's called. So it's a boat on wheels. It's because it looks like a boat, but there's like a plastic casing underneath and around. I don't imagine that comes off of there. I don't know. And I know if I open them, then guess what? They're not worth anything now. Oh, weird. Hologram? HAUL. Hologram. What in the blue hell is this supposed to be? And it's got an S25 on the bottom. I don't know. This is 10 out of 10 though. That's apparently some research is needed on some of these. Here's another one. Brutinator. I can't wait. Yvonne's gonna love these. What's a Brutinator? Is it like a Terminator, but he uses Brute 33? Or there's a reference for you. Where would you be without Brute 33? Aggravating song, but it gets stuck right up here. 40 years later. Hot Wheels High. HIGH. So it's like a bus. Now it's got red rims. Now I was reading about the expensive ones, and they said the red rims tended to be more expensive, but only on the original Hot Wheels back in 1968. So red rims now don't mean as much as they used to. Fascinating. Seriously, fascinating stuff. Like going through a box of hockey cards and not knowing what I've got. The difference is this time out, I don't know how many people are going to be in the comments saying, well, you got this and you got this. Dodge Charger Drift. So I guess if you take this car and you roll it on the floor, it'll automatically start twisting, drifting around. Interesting. Any of the other Metros? So I'm going through the different sets here. Baja Blazers. Oh, we'll get into that. Yeah, I'm curious about the Baja Blazers. Jeep Scrambler. I remember having Jeeps. I was never huge on the Jeeps. And the thing is, too, when I had cars as a kid, I couldn't just play with them like a normal child. I had to have, like, I had the, what was it called? Like, it had a garage, and it had a mall, and there were various stores in it, and it would fold open. And so I would carry it around like a suitcase. It would fold open. And I looked to see if they have anything like that now, and they don't really, not really like what it was then. And so I would have certain vehicles that I would assign to certain stores and so I'd be like, okay, Larry's Towing goes to the, because I had the Larry's Towing truck. And so I would, put that in front of the shop. Be like, okay, so that's his shop. And then every day I would pretend there was like traffic around. And anyways, couldn't play like a normal kid. Other kids are just like winging them off stuff and seeing if they can blow them up. Porsche 920 or 928S Safari. I don't know that that's a thing. Porsche's so weird. Just keep releasing the 911. The Porsche 911 is the best car. The end. People in the comments go, yeah, is that the best Porsche? Sandburner. You know, if you called someone a sandburner, they'd probably get offended and they wouldn't know why. Is that so? What is that supposed to? I don't even know what that would mean. Lazy sand burners? How do you burn sand? Anyways, but yeah, so another one of the Baja Blasters. And I wonder too with this, so are these ones that were in the stores and they didn't sell that well, so they end up throwing them into like a box of 50? Do I have any of the Baja ones on this side? No. All right, what other fun stuff's in here? Then and Now. 62 Corvette. I'm pretty sure I had the 62 Corvette back in the day. That looks very familiar. And here's another Then and Now. 69 Dodge Charger. Oh, I had that. I think I had this in two different colors when I was a kid too. I believe I had them in Matchbox. I don't know that I had them in Hot Wheels. And look at that. Look at that. Gold. That's some gold hubcaps, boys and girls. They're worth less if I take them out of the package. They're not worth as much, but I want to. It's fun. I don't know. The news is always so depressing and everything's depressing these days. So if I want to have a second childhood, dag nabbit, I can have it. 2020 Dodge Charger Hellcat. That's awesome. So this is the Then and Now collection. That's cool. So they've got the Dodge Charger from 69, the Dodge Charger from 2020, and they're both purple. So they're the same color, and it's 7 and 8, so they follow each other numerically in the set. That is a really nice idea. That's well done. And they both have the gold wheels as well. But there's more spokes in the 20 than there is in this one. I just get so nerdy with all this. Don't post this, Shannon. Don't post it. HW Rescue. Oh, yeah. Helicopter. The helicopters, I think I had one or two. I never knew what to do with the helicopters. If you're suspending disbelief, you got to keep spinning the propeller and the back propeller. I think I had one with the back propeller that broke too. This one, the back propeller isn't actually a thing. HW Rescue, so Hot Wheels Rescue. And a boat. So again with the boats, I had boats. You know, it's funny. That's not too far off from the old Batmobile. Man, I had the Batmobile. The original Batmobile. The old 60s show. All right, so we'll jump into this HW Rescue as well. Lightning Bug. Well, I guess it's a rescue car, but it's a bright blue color with yellow. I wouldn't assume that was rescue if it was coming to me. I would think there was a rave coming. I need rescue. Why is there a rave coming? I just picture that car having that noise coming from it. That's the rescue. I don't think that is. That sounds like a rave. HW Hot Trucks. GMC Hummer. See how I always thought it would be cool to own my own Hummer. So there you go. Now I've got one. There you go. Oh man, I can totally say I've reached my peak on YouTube. I bought 50 vehicles today. Yeah, did it. I absolutely did it. Ford F-150 Lightning Custom. And it's got Ford right on the side, so which means flip over, read directions. No directions underneath either. I know, first on race day. I remember. That's Turbo Mania Imports Race Team. Not doing the race team yet. Are they all like this now? Like they're all part of something? So and I'm okay with that. It's odd. So as a kid, I would have wanted the entire set. So Land Rover Defender 90. So that's defending your land with your, well, it's a Jeep. As I know it's a Land Rover, but it's a Jeep. Hot Track Champs. Hot Wheel Hot Trucks, another one. Ford Bronco R. So, see that on a police chase. Yeah. Been doing that a lot lately. Stupid LA night. All right. What else do we have here? Tuned. So cartoons. Oh, tuned. Yeah, so they're goofy looking cars. So what the heck's this? Honda Cafe. So it's a motorcycle, but it's a Honda. So I don't know if that qualifies. Like as like a motorbike. I don't know if people are more accepting of Honda motorbikes than they used to be. There were certain ones that I would get told that's not a real motorcycle. You want a real motorcycle? It's got to be a Harley or like they had other kinds too, Ducati, right? Nah, it's not a real motorcycle. Let's look at the turbo. Fast, fast fellion. But looking at it initially, I thought it said fast felon. It's like, what are they teaching these people? What are they doing? So that's kind of fun. I guess I could pretend I'm doing my racing for the day. Hot Wheels Slammed. Custom 68 Camaro. Is this one of those ones that has a crumple zone? Or does it just say slammed because why not? I don't see a crumple zone. They had the ones for a while there, the smash ups, which I thought was a bad idea. Okay, HW Roadsters, Corvette C7 Z06 BVQRL. Who cares? It's Corvette. And that one has copper rims on it too. And it's partly open at this end. Man. There goes the resale value. What's this? HW Wagons. Datsun Bluebird Wagon. That looks very similar to one that I had as a kid. Apparently they do a lot of re-releases. And they should. They got the molds for these. Why not? Not like vehicles change that much. SS or 55 race team. So Hot Wheels. So the racing cars. I never played much with the racing cars either. I had them, but I much preferred like the ones that somebody could drive this. Another Baja Blaster. It's a 57 Jeep FC. Doesn't look like a Jeep. It's like a truck. Do you know your Jeeps from your trucks there, Hot Wheels? Anyways, I'm kidding, obviously. Just the brand name is Jeep. Oh, Rock and Railers. So drag racer. I had a couple of drag racing cars when I was a kid too. So this really is a trip down memory lane. Oh, another motorcycle. Honda Super Club Custom. So I don't know if they're all Hondas. It's just Hot Wheels Moto, so I don't know if they're all Hondas or not. That's this one. Hot Wheels Exotics Porsche 935. Again, the Porsche 911. It's the best. It's the best of them. I know there's people who like other ones, but to me the 911 just looked the best. Jaguar. I had a bunch of Jaguars. That was one that people kept getting me. HW Green Speed. What is Green Speed? Can you charge it? Because it's got an actual like lightning, like it looks like battery. So is it supposed to be an electric car then? I'm guessing. Jaguar I-Pace E-Trophy. I must be an electric car, but it's a Hot Wheels, so who cares? Lamborghini Reventon, and it's got red hubcaps. I know they're not actual hubcaps. I know. It's just a plastic piece on the wheel. You guys know what I mean. 2018 Dodge Challenger Sat Demon Monsters Mania. So a lot of Dodges here. Challengers and Chargers. My favorite cars growing up. And why were Dodge Challengers and Chargers my favorite cars growing up? Because I had a nice Hot Wheels collection and I thought they looked awesome. Lay-in Lowrider. So this is one of the slammed ones as well. Fun paint job though. I like the paint on that. I like the green. That's definitely a lowrider at the back end. I don't know how that would affect some of the stuff you do with those cars though. I think it would. Here comes Shadow to knock everything down. HWJ Imports. 98 Honda CRX. J Imports, so Japanese imports. It really reminded me of Gran Turismo now. which I understand is a good movie, and I do want to see it. I don't know that I have to see that in the theater. BMW i8 Roadster. So we're into the Roadsters ones here. It's just a black car though. I think as a kid I would have been disappointed by that one because it's black. The whole thing is black, and even underneath. Now the sunroof is nice. I would have liked the convertible aspect, the sunroof aspect of it, but as a kid I liked it to have a little more personality, like this '85 Ford Thunderbird Pro Stock. I had Ford Thunderbirds. So again, I'm pretty sure that's one that is an updated version of one that I played with as a kid. Those tires are barely underneath the car. So, yeah, that would get scratched up playing with it. Not that I'm going to play with them, of course. Dodge Viper. I don't know if I had a Dodge Viper or not. This is a 92. It wouldn't have been a 92. I'm trying to think of when Vipers started. I know I've always liked Dodge Vipers. Didn't Bure drive a Viper? I think he did. Rimac Navara. Again, green speed, so this has got to be, it's a plug-in. The car itself, I know I can't plug it in, but the car it's based on is an electric, is my guess. Another Muscle Mania 71 Plymouth GTX. See, and this is, I can tell people this. They'd be like, oh, what kind of vehicle do you have? Well, I've got 4 Porsches. Yeah, I really need a better storage system for them. Teed off Z, HW Sports. What is that? Like how would you drive this? You there's like a hole in the middle, I guess, to look through. This is not safe. You can't drive that on the road. That's not safe at all. The motor completely obstructs your view. That'd be absolute sheer terror driving in that. That's not safe at all. I'm teaching kids a terrible lesson. Oh, it's a water bomber. Sky show. We also call them air shows. Water bomber. So I don't know what you do with that. It's got little wheels on it, but I don't know what you do with that. Maybe I didn't have the imagination as a kid. And I say that, and anybody who knew me as a kid would be like, you had imagination. Cerlero GT. So one of the exotics. I had a bunch of cars. Again, the race cars, the sporty ones, I was never as big on. Muscle cars, though. Pass and Gasser. I'm 50. I can identify with the Pass and Gasser part of this. That looks like the ZZ Top car from the 80s, which I had a few of those. I did. I had a few of those. Hot Wired. So Track Champs. Another one of those funny cars for drag racing. Another J import. This is a Subaru WRX STI. And I've used that in racing games. So a lot of racing cars of sorts. They're not racers, but I've used them in racing games. So that's kind of fun. Didn't get a Honda Civic, though. Mitsubishi Pajero Evolution. This is Mud Studs. I never heard of Mud Studs before, but there you go. So that's all 50. That is really fun. That is really fun. This is where if I had a grandchild to pass them over to and say, here, take these, destroy them, and watch me cry, which I would. I absolutely would. I always, even as a kid, when I'd watch kids smashing up Hot Wheels, I'd be like, oh my gosh, seriously, don't smash up the Hot Wheels. And if they had one with the license plate on the back, I would trade them. Be like, what would you like? You have the license plate on the back. Would you like to trade? So no license plates on the backs of these, which I don't know where you'd put them on these cars. It would be interesting if I still had like a car from back then to compare how they're put together now with how they were put together back then. But in my experience, they were always well made. And yeah, it was Matchbox, it was Hot Wheels, and then all of the ones that would just fall apart, that the axles were bent when you got them out of the box. Like, seriously, I already can't push this on the floor. Oh, the tire came off. Awesome. Great. Well, the dog can have a toy then. Don't give it to the dog will choke, and then you'll feel bad. So anyways, there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Hey, it's a completely different kind of video. And that's actually kind of fun. That's actually kind of fun. Um, and yeah, so I'll see how this does. If it does well, I could do another unboxing at some point in time. And if slash when I do get the duplicates and stuff, we have all kinds of charities that I can donate to, especially with Christmas coming up. Absolutely, I think that's a really. I'm glad I talked that out. That's a really good idea. I can get a couple of these, and then just the ones that end up being duplicates, we can donate them to kids charities and toy drives. So I like that idea a lot. All right, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video, and yeah, something completely different. I may do this again. You guys can let me know your thoughts. I will let view counts and comments decide whether or not I do this again. Thanks again for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.